Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of What CD is Rob listening to today, and today begins Queen Week. Woo! Queen Week. Now I probably won't review every album, and I certainly won't be reviewing them all in depth, but I thought I'd go a little in depth with their first album. Released in 1973, July of 1973, and clocking it at just under 39 minutes. There are both heavy metal and progressive rock elements in this music, much like the way Rush was, but to a completely different outcome. I'm not sure where this album ranks for me. I'm doing a ranking of all the albums this week, so I'm sure by Friday when we do our ranking video, I'll have it all figured out. But it's a very good album. Kicks off with the heavy guitar-riven classic Queen tune, Keep Yourself Alive. I believe it's on most of the compilations, and a classic Queen tune. In addition to those amazing guitar tones that only Brian May could do so well, there are some fantastic vocal melodies and one hell of a drum performance from Roger Taylor here. Doing All Right starts off as a much quieter tune, but really a beautiful song. A very emotional vocal performance alongside some very 60s feeling guitar leads, both electric and acoustic. The song also touches briefly on a much heavier section a couple of times during its short 4 minutes. Great King Rat is one hell of a heavy rhythmic rocker. This one is a definite favorite for me. The guitars chug along with the rhythm section at times and breathes on its own at others. Again, the vocals are just phenomenal with some of those Queen harmonies that they would become so well known for. My Fairy King is our first excursion into Freddie Mercury's fictional world, Rhye, which showed up many times along the way in Queen's catalog. There are vocal overdubs here, which would be used a lot in later years and again on this album. This is a fun swinging rocker with plenty of great guitars. Lots of the backwards sounding kind of Brian May sort of style here. Some piano played by Freddie Mercury. And a top-notch rhythm section. People don't mention Roger Taylor and John Deacon as a fantastic rhythm section enough, but they were. John Deacon doesn't really perform anymore. This is a very epic feeling tune, even if it is only about 4 minutes in length. Liar kicks off side 2 at nearly 6.5 minutes and is the longest track on the album. This one kicks off with drums and hand claps before guitar join in for another hard rock song with some amazing acoustic-driven vocal sections, some absolutely killer guitar work, and even the treat of a Hammond organ. Freddie sounds fantastic here as usual. The percussion vocal section with that chugging guitar is a high point of the album for me. The percussion vocal section? Just the vocal section with the chugging guitar is a high point of the album for me. I got to get better reading my notes and looking back and forth. I'm working on it. The Night Comes Down is a slower paced, acoustically driven song written by guitarist Brian May. The chorus here is just perfection with some really beautiful vocal melodies and harmonies. It's a very nice sort of breather after the bombastic attack of the rest of the fucking album, which is just killer. That tune segues directly into the much heavier Roger Taylor written and sang song, Modern Time Rock and Roll. With a vocalist like Freddie in the band, it gets forgotten what a great singer that Roger is, and even Brian, fantastic singer. And that's clearly proven on this hard rocker. At less than 2 minutes in length, we're treated to some amazing drum work, a killer guitar solo, and enough bass to please even the most devoted fans of the 4-string. He's slapping that bass. Sons and Daughter, the B-side to Keep Yourself Alive, is a heavy bluesy sort of song with some of the best guitar work on the album. Again, the overdub vocals show up here, a style Queen would obviously become well known for. This song slugs along at a slower pace, but sort of feels reminiscent of that muddy sort of metal style that Black Sabbath had once explored. Pretty much anything from that first album, Black Sabbath. So, very cool song. Jesus was about that JC guy. We're not going to get into him. And features my favorite vocal performance on the album. Am I going to hell for that? Whatever. I just love a good vocal melody, and this one definitely has that in spades. This tune also has an instrumental section that just continues to blow my mind every time I hear it. I mean, no matter how many times you can hear something, it can still give you goosebumps, and this is definitely one of those. Almost a psychedelic sort of guitar sound at some parts. There's some hard-hitting bass and a drum part that could almost be a solo if it were on its own, which I think is really cool. It's a fantastic tune. And the album closes with a song that Freddie hadn't finished writing yet, a song called Seven Seas of Rhye, which show up on the next album in its finished form. But here's a great way to end the album. It's just a very brief sort of instrumental version. I guess initially they had planned on ending this album with that and beginning the next album with it, but it never happened. And I think this album is a fantastic indicator of who Queen would be for at least a while. I think they continued on this through at least sheer heart attack before moving along to a somewhat different, more proggier sound. More proggier sound? I don't know if that's quite correct. They're a proggy band, not overtly like your Emerson, Lake and Palmer or your Yes and Genesis, but sort of a heavy proggy band. I don't really know how to categorize them. Just fantastic. Great music, great band, one of the best. And I can't wait to continue digging in through their catalog throughout this week. Anyway, until next time, doodles.